if I traded it all, if I gave it.
Welcome back. You know, I said earlier in the show, it's a weekend where people are going to be drinking because, you know, we know that yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, but we all know that you're carrying it on throughout the rest of the whole entire weekend, and anything can happen to anybody. Bad things happen to good people. My next guest is John Blischak. Did I say it correctly?
Correct.
And he is a criminal defense attorney. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carol.
Well, I want, it is a big weekend for people who are, going out right now. They're all thinking about where they want to have a drink. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I am a criminal lawyer. I spent 10 years with the federal government as an FBI agent. I came out here in 1978. I felt like a native. I've had my law license in Arizona, I think, since 1978. And I went into, after I left the FBI after 10 years, and then I went to practice law with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office as a prosecutor for 3 years in the organized crime section. And then I had 1 year of civil practice, and I've been on my own ever since. And it's been much better than I ever anticipated. I didn't think I was going to do as well as I did.
Well, also, Sheriff Joe has made that a little bit possible for everybody, especially now, because we have a lot of laws. It's a zero tolerance, and there's a lot of people out there that get what I call popped. It could be that they had one drink, right?
Correct.
And it could be that they might have been taking some medication. There's also people now that are smoking, pot and things like that now. So anybody, literally anyone, could get themselves in that situation.
People get popped on a broad spectrum of complaints or illegal violations, yes.
All right. Now, you're located where? Where's your office?
My office is 1100 East Washington.
So you're right downtown?
Right downtown, near the ballpark.
Okay. And your website, now I'm going to spell this for everybody. It's Blischak Law, which is BLISCHAK law.com. The phone number, put it in your phone. This is what you need to do because you got to have the phone number. You do free consultations with everyone?
Absolutely.
Right, because you have to. And everybody out there, put the number in your phone. It's 602-252-1984. God forbid something happens to you. You got that number right there in your phone. You click on it. You answer the phone. You take care of them, right?
And I will answer that phone call 9 chances out of 10. Maybe not necessarily at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'll answer it. Right. I'll get back to you within a reasonable time.
So, again, that number is 602-252-1984. And listen, let's be honest out there. It can happen to anyone. I have seen somebody who's in their 80s who just had a luncheon and got popped for a DUI because she had wine with her meal.
Carol, you are so true. It happens at the best of them. It also happens when you least suspect it, and it happens when you don't think of the consequences of what could happen.
And also, there's a lot of people out there that are listening that might have a son or daughter that might just get into this situation too, or someone that you know. So write the number down. I'm real big on that. So 602-252-1984. All right. So out there, they're driving. They get pulled over. Okay? Do they get out of the car?
I believe that generally, as a general rule, the officer will have them stay inside the car. He will make sure that there's no guns in sight or anything else in plain view, namely any kind of drugs or beer bottles or anything that could he could possibly secure as evidence should he desire to do that at a later point in the investigation. But I would advise them to stay inside the car. I would advise them unequivocally to cooperate fully with the police officer. I'm not necessarily advocating to make any statements or any confession, surely not any confession. What you got to realize, with all due respect to police officers, and again, having been in law enforcement for 10 years, I have to candidly tell you, having read thousands of police reports are written to convict people. the police officer's job is naturally to write the report. And I'm sorry I say this about some police officers, or some great ones, but just many times I've seen it where they make statements that instead of saying that John opened the door and started walking, they would say John fumbled with the door handle, grabbed onto the door to balance himself, and stumbled out as he walked. And that's not necessarily what happened, but they create that fiction about what they believe happened.
Well, let's face it, and I know there are probably a lot of cops or whatever listening. It doesn't matter. The fact is that it's money making. It is.
Well, they have a job to do too, and I respect that.
Right, but the fact is that right now the law's gotten so hard that it's very tough for people, and they really should be very careful. Maybe you get Uber, maybe not, but there's a lot of people out there that still don't even know. You get one drink, you think you're okay, and it's still going to happen.
You get a false sense of security, yes. And I will tell you, with the advent of Uber, I just think that the DUI violation, in my personal opinion, have gone down because people are cognizant that the police are out there and they're looking for them, and they have no hesitation in getting the Uber. I think everybody has a Uber app on their cell phone. But at the same time that the possibly the alcohol violations are going down. You mentioned earlier about a lot of people taking medications. There's a lot of people that don't realize, read that pill bottle, because it may tell you that you cannot drive with this medication in your system. And then last but not least, I think another area that's growing is the marijuana DUI laws. And a lot of people think that if I got a medical marijuana card that it's going to completely exonerate me, and it isn't. You still cannot have certain ingredients inside your body.
So you should write the number down and put this number in the phone. It's 602-252-1984. That website is Blischak. It's Blischak law.com. He does free consultations with everyone. Again, it's 602-252-1984. So what is the trend? Do you see a trend in DUIs now?
Well, I just want to follow up on another question. You had asked earlier about what somebody should do if they get stopped. Another one of the questions that is their hurdles that they're going to face is that the officer is going to ask them whether they will submit to a breath or a blood test. And under Arizona law, anybody that is driving, there's an implied consent that you're going to consent to take my blood or breath. And a lot of people refuse. For your first time DUI, if you've never been stopped before, if you just summarily refuse to do so, you're going to lose your license for a year. But the problem is further compounded by if they have evidence that you may have been drinking and driving poorly and other factors, they will get a search warrant, and they will get a search warrant to draw blood from you. So you lose out on both ends. You lose your license for a year.
You lose your license automatically, even if you're not necessarily going to end up with convicted as a DUI? You lose it automatically?
Well, the DUI involves the criminal element, which is with the court, and then you have the administrative ramifications with the DMV. There are two
So there's different laws for different things.
Yes, there's just different rules and regulations.
So really they should comply.
For the first time DUI. Now, I've seen it where you've beaten a DUI.
So if you've drank and had a few of them, you don't have to comply. That doesn't make any sense.
Now, what do you mean? Say that again.
You just said that if you're the first time DUI, what happens if you've had, those people know who they are that have had more than one, and shouldn't they also comply or no?
The person that they know, if my client knows he's had more than one and he calls me up, and of course, hopefully the police officer isn't listening or anything like that, and it's a strictly attorney-client privilege, I still would advise him to consent to the test for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a lot of different rules out there. This can happen to anyone. Please be careful out there. His phone number is 602-252-1984. What would be some of your final words for today, before we go? Because I know this is the first time you're on, and I know it goes by fast, that you might want to get out there right now.
In terms of what? Just specifically DUIs?
Or whatever it is that you can do for them.
I would like to advise the people that if and when they come to see me, they're going to get an honest answer. 30 years ago, when I first developed my ad for the phone book, my phrase was honest answers and a reasonable fee. The mere fact that you may pay some attorney $20,000 for a DUI does not guarantee that you're going to get a not guilty verdict as opposed to somebody that charges you $5,000.
He offers honest answers, reasonable prices, gives a free consultation with everyone. Please write this number down. It's going to be a crazy weekend out there. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone that you know. The number is 602-252-1984. Again, 602-252-1984. Be careful.